it's too easy to overload, 'cause life is an open road.
Hi, we're back with Just a Gypsy with Nick Russell. Nick, you recorded on the blog here within the last couple of days that this is the first anniversary of something that happened that wasn't so pleasant related to the RV, and I thought that maybe we might bring that up. At least you could tell us a little bit about that, but also, what do we learn from experiences like that? But let's start. What happened a year ago, roughly today?
December 4th of last year, we were in Elkhart, Indiana, having some work done in our RV at a service place. We had to go and run some errands, and when they finished working for the day, they have their own little campground there. They pulled our RV out and hooked it up there. We got back to our rig about 9 o'clock at night and came face to face with an armed burglar inside our motorhome.
Inside the motorhome? Okay.
Yes.
So, and you gave him 3 karate chops to the throat, and he ran off, right?
Not quite. He stuck a gun out the door at me, and I slammed the door of the motorhome on his hand several times until he dropped the gun.
Oh, okay.
And
so
I retrieved the gun, and he ran off in the meantime.
Cool. So, well, I guess that's, when you're in that kind of danger, you think rather quickly, and obviously disarming him was the first thing to do. But that brings up a very important point, a very important issue, which is security in motorhomes. You tend to feel pretty secure in your motorhome because it's your home, but it's in a different location every time, and so you have to be kind of aware of those surroundings, correct?
That's true, and common sense has a lot to do with it. We've parked a lot of nights in Walmarts overnight and truck stops and even roadside rests and never had a danger. And this was at an RV service facility, and it was just one of those things that happened. But let me back up just 1 second. When you said disarming him was the thing to do, in most cases, the thing to do is to back off and let the police take care of the situation.
Well,
in this particular situation, I was at the door of the RV before we realized he was inside. I mean, if we'd have known he was inside, we would have just backed away. Drove away and called the police. But as it turned out, I was at the bottom of the steps before we really realized what was happening.
Yeah, well, you're right. That's the point well taken is that you don't always want to aggressively disarm, but you sort of had the perfect opportunity. It sounds like with his arm in the doorway,
Right.
And I'm laughing now, but because it sounds, I'm laughing because the criminal was the one who was sort of on the receiving end of the situation ultimately, but it was a very dangerous situation, and you really don't know what people like that are thinking when you first come upon them. Maybe they only want to rob you, but the presence of a gun kind of changes the complexion of the whole thing. What have you changed anything about the way you operate since, and any advice for folks out there who want to kind of avoid or at least know how to deal with a situation like that?
We had become complacent, as many RVers do. It's overall, I have to say now, this is a very, very safe lifestyle. Mm-hmm. In over 12 years of full timing, this is the first time anything like that's ever happened, and it's the first time any RVer I know has actually come face to face with an armed intruder. So, that being said, we do tend to get complacent. We need to be aware of what's around us all of the time.
Well, and
if we pull into a place and it doesn't feel right for whatever reason, keep going.
Well, and to be fair, this wasn't really a commercial. This wasn't a regular commercial campground. It was a little bit more out of the way. Is that correct? Am I missing anything there?
Right. It wasn't an RV park as we talk about going to like Elkhart Campground in Elkhart, Indiana, which is a very safe and very comfortable place. We were at an RV repair shop that had a few hookups in their parking lot. So it was kind of we were over in kind of an industrial area.
Gotcha. Yeah, a little bit more, maybe a little more prone to things like that. So yeah. Well, I guess being careful is always important, but again, like you say, RVing is a very safe lifestyle and a very safe way to travel, and so we don't want to give people the wrong idea. It's just a sort of forewarned is forearmed in essence in this particular case.
Right. One of the things that I added to our rig that we didn't have, or actually 2 things, we added a motion detector light, which if that would have been on, may have just frightened them off as they came away. I really think this person thought it was an empty RV that was parked there for the weekend because it happened on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. We also have a little thing now called an iLog security camera, which sits inside our RV. And if someone were to come in after it's activated and we leave, it actually takes their picture or a video of them and emails it to my cell phone so that we know immediately what's going on. If we'd have known that, if we'd have had that, we'd have known somebody was there waiting for us.
Hey, post it on Facebook, right?
Right.
Right. Well, actually, yeah, the exposure is a criminal's worst enemy. We want to talk about our destination for this episode. And you folks had a recent, not real recent, but earlier this year, you took a trip aboard the Grand Canyon Railroad.
Yes, we did.
That looks like a fabulous trip. I've got a picture of the engine here and a couple other photos of the trip along the way. Tell us about that.
Well, the Grand Canyon Railroad runs from Williams, Arizona, north to the Grand Canyon.
Got it.
And it's just one of the nicest trips you'll ever take. It's an old time locomotive, and they take you off. And there's a campground right there right across the street from the railroad depot, and you get on, and they travel you in style. They have some entertainment as you're going up, and a little bit of adventure coming back. And they take you up there, and you have about 3 hours at the canyon to wander around and enjoy the scenes, and you get back in your train and come back home.
Well, it sounds like a perfect setup, since that you aren't hassling with the parking and the logistics at the Grand Canyon, and besides that, you get a great ride. I've got a picture here of the train coming over a trestle. And, I guess on the way up or down, I'm not sure which, but that's it goes through some pretty picturesque scenery as well, doesn't it? I mean, even before you get to the canyon.
Oh yeah, the whole trip up there, you're going through the forest. A lot of people think of the Arizona as being all desert and sand and cactus, but actually, northern Arizona, where we're from, in a little town called Show Low, and Williams and Flagstaff, and that entire area, is on the Mogollon Rim, and it's some of the biggest pine forests in the world.
Right. This has an upstairs where there's a stairway upstairs. There's a stairway up in this passenger car, goes up to what they call a sky car. So what's like a glassed-in viewing area. There's another photo
right
here. Yeah, this is your wife and the conductor.
Mm-hmm. She's the pretty one.
There you go. You're right. Yes, she is.
The sky car gives you an excellent view.
A lot of light here and a lot of almost a 360 view of the trip as you're traveling.
Yes. On the way up there and on the way back, we saw elk and we saw, I think, some antelope and that sort of thing. So it's a beautiful ride.
That's
something
beautiful.
To be remembered forever.
That's great. And then there's some entertainment along the way. I've got looks like someone tried to rob the train on the way home, perhaps. Is that?
Yeah,
I assume
that happened.
That's a reenactment.
Every trip they seem to get robbed, but fortunately the sheriff comes along and nails them right after that. But they come through. They're polite robbers. They visit with you a little bit.
Oh, okay. So it's just in fun. It's not the fellow that you encountered at the campground, obviously. So
not the same fellow, no.
That's great. That's great. Well, I have been out not to the Grand Canyon, but to Rocky Mountain National Park. And we just noticed that with a lot of the Western destinations, there are so many fun aspects that get thrown in, even in the presumably touristy kinds of activities. They try to have some fun with it, and it's really kind of unique and kind of down home and friendly. I don't. That's my impression of the West, anyway. So.
Well, there's fun to be had in every corner of the country. You can go anywhere in this country and drive right past a lot of things that would be wonderful adventures if you just take the time and get out and enjoy them. That's what RVing is all about.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. What else do we have? We got the train coming through the pines. More of the picturesque stuff of the train trip. So there is a website for this, and we'll put the website up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have the website on. There we go. Grand Canyon Railroad. It's called thetrain.com. So if you're interested in going on the Grand Canyon Railway, thetrain.com is the website to look for, and you can check that out. That kind of wraps it up for us today, Nick. Any passing thoughts on RV travel and fun?
We've been at this, like I said, we're into over 12 years now, and for us, it's the greatest lifestyle in the world. Every day is an adventure. We have the greatest job in the world because we get to go to the places other people go on vacation, and that's our job. So
that's cool.
But whether you're a weekend traveler or a snowbird or a full-time RVer, get out and enjoy America. It's out there waiting for you.
Yeah, and check out the Gypsy Journal at gypsyjournal.net. Remember that you can write to Nick at gypsy@rvnn.tv or leave a voicemail message at 877-578-RVNN and use extension 707. Give us a suggestion on the show, a comment, question, whatever. We'll be glad to take those up in potential future episodes of Just a Gypsy. And we're going to be taking off now. Where are you off to next, Nick?
We're going to be here in Florida until sometime in late January, and then we're going to start making our way west to Arizona to get ready for the rally in Yuma in March.
That's called the Western Gypsy Gathering, is that right?
That's right.
I'm looking at your T-shirt. I don't know if the folks at home can see that it says Gypsy Gathering, but yeah, that's the name of the rally. So look for that. There's information about that at gypsyjournal.net as well. So that's all from us here. Thanks a lot, Nick, for braving the weather in Florida, because it's not really that pleasant there right now. Hopefully it'll get better. And thanks for braving the internet to come through on a somewhat spotty connection, but I think we did pretty well.
I think so. It was fun.
All right, take care. We'll see you later, and thanks for joining us.
For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.